What's going on, y'all? So, I got another reaction for you guys. This time it is the Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown final preview by the way of IGN. Little history with me with the Prince of Persia. I never played like the Super Nintendo or Nintendo versions of the Prince of Persia, so I'm not totally familiar with the 2D scroller. But I did play Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, the Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within, and Prince of Persia, Two Thrones. And then they did a remake one, but I don't think I finished that one. I played it, but I don't think I ever finished it. But I was a big fan of those. I'm a big fan of those, is what my point was. And to see this, I don't know how I feel about it going back to like a 2D side scroller. So let's check out this final preview and see if they can sway me, because I was hoping that they would bring this franchise back out, but as like another either a reboot or another new entry in the franchise, similar to the ones of the Sands of Time and Two Thrones and the Warrior Within. So, but hey, don't knock it till you try it, right?
I'll be honest, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown sounded just fine on paper, but what I really wanted was the long gestating remake of the greatest Prince of Persia game of them all, The Sands of Time. That 2003 gem channeled the spirit of the classic original game while brilliantly modernizing it. The franchise has arguably been chasing that high ever since, but that remake is still MIA. So when I sat down to play the first few hours of The Lost Crown then, I was pleasantly surprised to see that this wasn't some low-budget 2.5D attempt to recapture that early 21st century glory. Instead, Ubisoft's first properly new Prince of Persia game since the 2008 reboot is its own game, a Metroidvania, and it's such a great fit that I'm scratching my head wondering how this franchise and genre never got together before. Playing as Sargon, one of the not literal immortals who safeguard mythical Persia,
onward, immortals!
The Lost Crown promises to be a 20 to 25 hour romp set mostly in the chrono-cursed Mount Kaf, following a betrayal of the highest order.
Prince Hassan has been kidnapped.
Based on the initial few hours I experienced, I'd say that Ubisoft likely isn't exaggerating. This should be a fairly meaty adventure. And the biggest thing that became quickly and unexpectedly apparent during my quest was that I was gonna have to dust off some of my old action game skills forged by Ninja Gaiden on Xbox around the same time The Sands of Time came out. Put another way, The Lost Crown is no joke in the combat department. It harkens back to the original Prince of Persia in that regard. Right from the jump, the bad guys here come out swinging. Swords, polearms, and plenty of other weapons, and you'll need to be quick to parry attacks, the ones with a yellow indicator, lest they take a big bite out of the 3 measly health bars you start with if they connect. Unblockable attacks, marked by a red glimmer, can't be parried, so you'll need to avoid those altogether. I preferred to do that by sliding underneath them so that I could counterattack from behind. On this note, The Lost Crown also wastes no time in throwing you into one-on-one battles with bosses. I fought several of them in the opening hours, and I found these fights to be just the right combination of challenging without reaching the point of frustration. On this massive monstrosity, for example, I spent way too long trying to brute force him before finally settling down, learning his attack patterns, and emerging victorious in a white-knuckle battle. That tussle still took a good 3.5 minutes on account of his massive health bar. But this is still a Prince of Persia game, and so there's plenty of precision platforming to do as well. Thankfully, the penalty for failing to clear that bed of spikes isn't instant death, and instead just one segment of your health bar, but traversal is no walk in the park. In fact, one thing I didn't especially care for in the first few hours was getting around the map. This is a Metroidvania, and as such, you'll go up, down, left, and right all over the map, and you'll need to return to places you've already been. Traveling long distances, which you will need to do, is somewhat cumbersome, particularly in the first couple of hours before you unlock fast travel stations. Another layer of the Lost Crown I did like was the upgrades. You can purchase items like additional health potion capacity, which I can promise you will need, as well as upgrades like additional amulet slots. Amulets are passive upgrades you can find around the world or purchase, and they offer things like extra health, extra damage, etc. I get the sense that I'll welcome the ability to tailor my build the deeper into this adventure I get. Visually, The Lost Crown isn't terrible, but it's not great either, though Ubisoft promises it will run at 60 frames per second on all platforms, including Nintendo Switch. I played on PC and only had a couple moments of slowdown that I won't hold against it, considering that the team is still polishing the game. Odds are these minor annoyances will be smoothed out by the time it launches in mid-January. One criticism I'd levy thus far that's unlikely to be fixed, however, is the onboarding process. For my taste, The Lost Crown takes way too long to get going from a combat mechanics perspective. It took most of the initial 3 hours of the campaign that I played before I had enough tricks in my bag to start holding my own in combat. And while yes, this is a Metroidvania that's meant to peel back additional onion layers as you progress, I'd still argue that this Prince of Persia doles out its combat basics way too slowly. Nevertheless, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a surprisingly deep, no-nonsense Metroidvania that looks to get our gaming year of 2024 off to a good start. For more on the biggest games of early 2024, don't miss our hands-on preview of Tekken 8, and for everything else in the world of video games, stick with IGN all year long.
Alright. I guess we leave it on that shot. Whew. Long day, long day. Alright, so as you can see, wasn't totally impressed. Yeah, I wasn't like super duper impressed. I really wasn't. Okay, I won't say it was bad. It's not bad. It's kind of mid. I would say it's not bad, but it's not great either. I got more excited when I saw the Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time and all that play style in that game. I got really excited for it. This game I didn't really get that much. I didn't even get to see like the Sands of Time dagger. Did he even get that in this game? Like, to me, that was like the most important part of those old games, but I didn't see that nowhere. It's just more about combat and platforming and traversing. maybe I'm being too harsh, and maybe I'm just stuck because those are the last Prince of Persia games I played, so maybe I'm just used to those type of games and just wanted more of that, and they trying to do something different. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed my reaction, and if you're a fan of the older games too, like me, or you thoroughly enjoyed this new version of the Prince of Persia. But if you enjoy my reaction, you know what to do, guys. You hit this button right there for all of my Season 3 reactions. And you enjoy the video so much you want to support the video, hit those buttons. Please hit the like, subscribe, share, turn on notifications. Do all those great things because it really does help the channel. It really do. It gets me out there to more of a broader audience and more good things coming to the channell. And as always, hitting on these videos for more of my amazing content, but don't go anywhere because I got more. Peace.